Hello everybody, welcome back into the video. Ho 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 ho. We got some salt from Jim Ryan and Sony as they keep trying to the CMA about the whole Activision acquisition by Microsoft, and Microsoft has had enough of their shit and has responded in a big way. So without further ado,
and here we go.
Sony has told the UK's competition regulator that it believes some Call of Duty players are likely to switch to Xbox even if the series remains on PlayStation following the proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. It is partly due to the increased differentiation it believes could emerge between the Xbox and PlayStation versions of future Call of Duty entries should the proposed deal be approved. It's already been approved by 3 regulators already. That's in addition to the obvious benefit that would emerge for consumers should Microsoft's intention to bring Call of Duty to its Game Pass subservice come to fruition. Despite repeated assurances from Xbox that the series, which is regularly the best-selling release of the year in the US, will remain on PlayStation, Sony has been engaged in increasingly public war words over the proposed deal, and has told press that Microsoft's offer in regards to the future of Call of Duty was quote-unquote inadequate on many levels. Really, Sony? Did you really think about that when you've done these anti-competitive deals in the past? I'll get to that later. But anyway, continuing. Regulators around the world are currently scrutinizing Microsoft's proposed acquisition, with the UK CMA voicing similar concerns that the deal could harm PlayStation and other game subscription services should Microsoft make Activision Blizzard content exclusive to its platform. Microsoft has said in response to the CMA's decision to expand its inquiry this week that it has no intention to take Call of Duty away from gamers and has claimed that doing so would tarnish both the brands of both Call of Duty and Xbox. However, in a document published by the CMA, it's revealed that Sony Interactive Entertainment believes that even if Microsoft is true to its word on keeping the series multi-plat, it could still add exclusive features to the Xbox version of Call of Duty games to the point where it would most likely influence players' choice of console. They told the CMA that even if games remained available on PlayStation following the merger, the merged entity would still be able to engage in partial foreclosure by increasing the differentiation between the versions of COD available on both Xbox and PlayStation. The document reads, according to Sony Interactive Entertainment, gamers may expect COD on Xbox to include extra content and enhanced interoperability. I probably said that wrong, so my apologies, with the console hardware in addition to any benefits from used membership and Game Pass. Sony Interactive submitted that these factors are likely to influence gamers' choice of console. Sony should know how much pull exclusive Call of Duty content has on gamers, as for much of the past decade, it has its own exclusivity deal in place for the series. For the last several years, a marketing deal has seen PlayStation users receive content updates before other versions, as well as exclusive bonuses such as free items. Previously, Xbox had the same exact content deal in place during the Xbox 360 generation. I would argue that's when when Call of Duty really took over, was during the 360 gen, when Microsoft had that deal. But anyway, to sum up this article, before it expires, Sony's Call of Duty deal is believed to cover this year's Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 and a new game from Treyarch, which may not arrive till 2024. Microsoft's head of gaming, Phil Spencer, claims to determine that he had provided Sony a signed agreement pledging feature and content parity in future Call of Duty games for at least several more years, beyond the expiration of the existing Sony contract. While the Xbox executive claimed the offer goes well beyond typical gaming agreements, Sony's Jim Line Dance Moves Ryan told Game Industry Biz, I put that part in there obviously, that the company isn't satisfied with the proposal. I had intended to comment on what I understood would be a private business discussion, but I feel the need to set the record straight because Phil brought this in a public forum. Microsoft has only offered for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact of our gamers who want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle.
Do you know how much water is used up every time you flush the toilet?
I give. What?
3 gallons.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
Oh, poor Sonya, boo-hoo. Did you really think about Xbox gamers when you have conducted these anti-competitive moves that you've done, like removing, I don't know, Street Fighter 5 on Xbox? I'll get to the various examples of what Sony's done lately. Hell, they recently inked a deal to have exclusive questline for Hogwarts Legacy for an entire fucking year. So for a whole year, the Xbox version, the PC version, the Nintendo Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy will be incomplete because of Sony's BS that they could have shown to pull, that they've been doing for literally years, and it's easier for them to do so because they are the market leader. But anyway, now let's get to Microsoft's response, and boy did they choose violence with this. The CMA's concerns are misplaced for the following reasons. Sony PlayStation has been the largest console platform for over 20 years, with an install base of over 150 consoles, making it larger than Nintendo and more than double the size of Xbox. I mean, I don't think it would be as big. The install base would be if both you, Microsoft, and Nintendo hadn't screwed up last generation. You yourself, botched the reveal of the Xbox One so bad that people switched over to Sony's console, and the Wii U, well, I mean, what's there to say about the Wii U? It was a massive failure. Even Nintendo says it is. Anyway, continuing. Sony engages in conduct today which reflective of its market power in console gaming, including increasing prices of its consoles without fear of losing market share, and I don't know what that means. Yep. Do you ever wonder why Sony didn't raise the price of PS5 in the US? You wonder why? I can tell you. We all know why. It's because that's the market where Xbox is the strongest. And while in other regions, Sony is the dominant leader over there. So gee, you wonder why Sony didn't raise the prices here. Anyway, continuing. The suggestion that incumbent market leader was cleared in during market power could be foreclosed by the third largest provider as a result of being access to one title, or losing access, to one title is not credible. There are more than 4,000 games available on PlayStation alone. Yeah, exactly. Like, I will say this. Even if Sony does, if COD does go exclusive eventually, I still think that PlayStation would sell more consoles. I do. Because their brand power and nostalgia for that brand is so powerful. I mean, the PS3 still beat the 360 in the end. I think that should tell you just how strong the brand power PlayStation has on people. Like, that just tells you just how strong it is. I mean, come on now, So, really, Sony? You're really arguing that PlayStation couldn't compete if they lose Call of Duty? Really? What you're really concerned about is losing that market share. It's pretty obvious, but anyway. The evidence shows that less than something of PlayStation's monthly active users, or MAUs, for short, are playing Call of Duty. Even without all those gamers, a highly improbable outcome from a hypothetically foreclosure strategy, the PlayStation gamer base would remain significantly larger than Xbox is today. Again, like I said before, I still think that PlayStation would still sell more consoles than Xbox, even if they lose Call of Duty. I still think that. So I don't know why Sony's so concerned. Oh wait, like I said before, it's about that market share, and how it would make it much harder for them to do time exclusive BS that they've consistently have done for years. They're still doing to this day. Anyway, continuing. Since the transaction was announced, Sony has acquired several game studios, including Bungie, to deliver the popular online game Destiny 2, Haven Studios, I don't know how to say that third one, and Savage Games, which is a mobile developer. In a minority interest in From Software, the developer of the biggest game of 2022, Elden Ring, among other hit games. This has complemented Sony's existing minority shareholding in Epic Games, the publisher of Fortnite. Strong first-party game catalog and extensive portfolio of exclusive arrangements with third-party publishers. There were over 280 exclusive first- and third-party titles on PlayStation 2021, nearly 5 times as many as on Xbox. So, Microsoft, are you kind of insinuating that you suck at making games? Because let's be real here, PlayStation only had 2 exclusives last year. They would have had more, but let's be real, all those ended up coming out this year instead, as those got delayed. So, are you basically insinuating Microsoft that you suck at making games? Is that really what you're kind of saying here? I get what you're doing. You're trying to make yourself look as weak as possible, so it's more likely that the deal will go through. I get what you're saying. And regarding them saying that PlayStation had more exclusives last year, you had 4 first-party titles coming out last year, Microsoft. You had Flight Simulator, Psychonauts 2, but that game doesn't. But I don't count that one because that was still on PlayStation because of Psychonauts 2 was because of the Kickstarter and all that. That's why the PlayStation version still came out for that game. Forza Horizon 5, and as the footage you see in the background, Halo Infinite. So, I know I also messed out third-party games that Sony had that were exclusive, like Deathloop and Kena. I believe Kena is also on PC. Same thing with Deathloop, but neither of those on Xbox. Well, Deathloop is now, but you know what I mean. That wasn't the case until a few weeks ago. But you gotta get what I'm saying, right? So I get what you're saying, Microsoft. You're basically kind of admitting that you had no games, even though that's not actually. You're trying to make yourself look as weak as possible, so the deal will go through. I get it because you have a lot writing on it. I totally get it, but you know what's kind of funny now? The irony, the sheer hypocrisy from Sony and Jim Ryan here. Because, as someone pointed out on Twitter, outside of Microsoft building in New York City, well, what do you see? You see this. A little poster for Modern Warfare 2, and look what is printed on it. PlayStation. And Sony doesn't want to market a first-party Xbox IP if this deal does go through, which, let's be real here, I think it's going to go through. I really think that. So it's kind of hilarious, and Sony doesn't want that. They really are desperate. They are so freaking desperate for this to not go through, but let's be real here. It's gonna happen whether they like it or not, and boy, are they salty about it. Because we all know if Sony was the one buying Activision, the CMA would probably be more, like, it's so weird. CMA, I gotta ask you guys, why the hell are you defending a corporation when your little job is to protect the consumer? And as Microsoft pointed out, Sony literally increased the price of PS5 in your fucking region, and you're still defending their market position. Why the hell are you doing that? Like, you're clearly not doing your fucking job, because if you were actually doing your job, you wouldn't be sitting here defending Sony. It's pretty blatant, because notice that, the focus point you're focused on is PlayStation. Ever notice that? Just saying. But yeah, holy shit, man. And also, the other thing I want to point out is, here are essentially Sony's demands, and they have to be losing. They have lost their goddamn mind if they really think it would be a cold day in hell before Microsoft agrees to any of this. Anyway, what am I talking about? Here's this. Sony's requirements to allow Microsoft to acquire Activision for COD. No extra content is not available on PlayStation. Oh, the fucking irony here. No hardware enhancements better than PlayStation. No Game Pass benefits.
You are out of your damn little pea-sized mind. What is wrong with you? Do you have any sense at all? Okay. Do you have any idea better than you did the day before? And I think there's no possible way he can top that. Okay. But what do? You find a way, damn it, to top it.
Really? Really, Sony? Like I said before, you've lost your mind if you really think Microsoft is going to agree to any of that. Really? No benefits for Xbox console users? Are you fucking kidding me with this shit? Really? Look at the shit that you've done. Oh, I don't know. Made Spider-Man exclusive for Avengers. They literally just inked a deal with WB for a whole quest line for Hogwarts Legacy to be exclusive. Not to mention all the countless examples of where Call of Duty content is exclusive in PlayStation versions of it. And speaking of the whole hardware enhancements, you are literally trying to say, you're basically admitting right there that your console is weak. That's basically what you're admitting here. It is so holy shit. Did you just essentially confirm that the PS5 is weaker than the Series X? Because on paper, the Series X is more powerful. On paper. But holy hell. And no Game Pass for Call of Duty? No way in hell Microsoft would agree to that. No fucking chance in hell. No way. There is absolutely no way Microsoft would agree to that. Imagine being so entitled. And this is the same company that refuses to put their first-party games on their subscription service. Holy shit. And they want to stifle competition because they do not want to compete at all and just want everything to stay the same. Which I hate to tell you, Sony, when this deal goes through, say goodbye to that such strong dominance because you're going to have a hell of a tougher time. Trying to be dominant. Because it's pretty blatant. You don't want to freaking compete. It's pretty blatant. And also, you remember that game, Project Eve, that was supposed to be multiplat, but is now under a new name, Stellar Blade? and that is now a PS5 exclusive. The most recent example of Sony taking away games from other platforms. And notice that the sheer hypocrisy from them, from Sony here. And notice that there was no rage about that, as someone pointed out on Twitter. Where's the rage regarding how Sony forced Stellar Blade to be exclusive to PS5? I'm aware it is likely coming to PC next year after the PS5 release, but still, they're right. They're absolutely right. And that's not the only example I'm going to use in this video. Besides the other ones I've already used, take a look at this image. Oh, I don't know, just like Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, again, getting exclusive content for PlayStation users only. And let's see, the early access, PlayStation exclusive for a while. Same thing with the open beta for Modern Warfare 2 on both weekends. Oh, and there's also the other games. Stray, I've heard that game is actually pretty good. Let's see, NOIO, and in its sequel by Team Ninja. I believe they said recently that the series still isn't coming to Xbox for some reason. I don't know why. Forspoken, which is exclusive to the PlayStation for like 2 years, I think. Let's see, Spider-Man, an IP that Sony doesn't own, and those games are exclusive to PlayStation for some dumb reason. Sure, it's on PC now, as I own the PC version, but that's not the point. There was a time where Spider-Man games were always consistently coming to Xbox, yet it's not anymore. Gee, I wonder why. I know Sony funded and all that, but come on. Marvel. You could have forced them to make a multiplayer like MLB did. Come on. But whatever, that's not the point. Street Fighter V, that's probably never going to come to Xbox. That definitely will never come, probably. What's Final Fantasy VII Remake? Sony and Square. Because clearly Sony's timed exclusivity deal ended unless they paid Square to make it permanent, which would not shock me. Same thing with Final Fantasy 16 and also Kenna. That game just came out to Steam. So where the hell is that on Xbox? But you kind of get what I'm saying. You guys get it, right?
You get what you fucking deserve.
You're getting what you fucking deserve, Sony. And I love it. I love it that you're exposing us as being so fucking salty, because it's not you that's doing this deal. It is so obvious that when this deal goes through, and let's be real here, and most likely will, and for the record, I want to make it abundantly clear, I do not care about Call of Duty. I don't. And I haven't for almost a decade. The last Call of Duty game I've actually played was Ghosts, which was at the launch of the Xbox One. So, because I got the game when I got the Xbox One, because there was, really nothing at launch the Xbox One that much, really. But, at least that appealed to me personally, until I played certain games later, but you kind of get what I'm saying, though. I haven't played a Call of Duty game in so long, and so, I don't care about Call of Duty. I don't. So it doesn't appeal to me. So I personally don't care, really, if COD is exclusive or not. I don't. But still, though, man, it is absolutely hilarious to see Sony such a squirm after they've been pulling so much anti-competitive BS for so many years. For ever since they started getting into the gaming industry. Ever since. I mean, look at the shit they pulled with Sega. And Peter Moore has gone on fact saying he resents Sony for doing that shit that they did to Sega. I know Sega has done screw ups, so again, I gotta ask CMA, why the hell are you defending Sony's market position? What do you benefit from it? It doesn't make no freaking sense when it's literally your freaking job is to defend the consumer, not the corporations. So get your head out of your asses and stop defending Sony. Because it does not make any sense, so why the hell? I mean, they're not saying they're going to turn down the deal, but essentially they're reading Sony PR. If you really think about it, their concerns are the exact same ones that Sony essentially complaining about. I mean, there's even more to those articles I've read to you all, but I really don't care about those because that's concerning cloud gaming, and I don't care about that. I just don't. But that's just me, though. So, okay, this video has gone on long enough, so I kind of got my point across. Yeah, Sony, it's so hilarious to see Sony, essentially cry after they've done the same shit. Basically, they're crying that Microsoft could do the same shit that they've been doing for years. And before I forget, the whole parody thing, remember the whole PS4 no parity thing? It's kind of funny that they're, having a double standard. You remember those contracts were saying that a multiplat, essentially where the PlayStation versions would get like parity with the other versions and all that, essentially blocking the other, say, a more powerful platform from getting a better version of a third-party game. Firstly, I didn't really believe it, because, no, there's no way. But after seeing this, I totally believe it. I totally believe that, 100%. And Sony really thinks that Microsoft would agree to those terms, those requirements. They're out of their damn minds. After all this shady shit, so yeah, the fake kumbaya you would see on social media between Microsoft and Sony, that has gone out the window. Because I guarantee you, after all this, Microsoft is pissed. They gotta be pissed after all this, man. Because, oh boy, Sony, as they say, fuck around and find out. And what you're doing right now is you're fucking around. So I'd be careful if I were you. I'd watch what you're saying in the future. Just saying. But anyway, I've gotten everything I need to say off my chest. So what do you guys think of this? Personally, I find it pretty hilarious. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. And if you like this video, hit the like button and consider hitting that sub button so you do not miss out on any more videos. And I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one.